over. Things are what they are, but we still got some very highlighted things to talk about. And we definitely going to get into some of the things that were done at the GP, including Lando shenanigans. Right now, I'm waiting on some room service so we could do that for a little bit and go through it real quick and just kind of see how you all feel. Now, first, I'm going to address something, all right? I'm going to address something. Let me get a sound check real quick, too. Sound check, make sure everybody can hear me before I start going in, and then everybody's like, oh, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. So let me get a quick sound check. If somebody could just verify that, they can hear the sound. If not, I'm just going to continue on what I'm going to say. So what I'm going to say is this. Lando, bro, you got to do your champagne bottle on your step. Stop doing your champagne bottle on somebody else's step. Even though it's Max Verstappen, and I could care less about his trophy being, well, I do care, because it's still a trophy. You're supposed to earn it, you're supposed to take it home. Yo, you ruined somebody else's trophy because you didn't bang your champagne bottle on your step. Now, I will say this. Had that been Lewis Hamilton that did that, it would be an uproar. It would be an uproar about that. What's up, Maria Duncan? What's up, Lady T? Let's 0430. It would be an uproar had Lewis Hamilton banged his champagne bottle on Max Verstappen's first place podium step and broke his trophy. I'm just asking people to keep the same energy. I'm going to always point these things out because y'all continuously have these double standards when it comes to one driver or another driver and not this driver. But Lando, bang your champagne on your step. That's your step. Don't bang your champagne bottle on somebody else's step and then ruin their accolade. Do you feel me? Next, I'm going to say this. I know what I said to some people might seem harsh about my critique on Lewis Hamilton, especially his start. It's not harsh. It's just real, okay? I know Lewis does risk management. I know this. I know Lewis is always going to look out for the team and the points. I know this. I know Lewis Hamilton is going to try to make the decision to salvage his race. I know this. What I'm saying is everybody else knows this too. And with everybody else knowing this, Lewis Hamilton has to get used to start not being the bad guy, but start standing up and combating the things that come his way so that people understand they're not just going to be able to get away with it. I'm not going to be able to go into this corner, put my nose in there, and he's going to let me through. You have to do that. So you cause them to drive different against you. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Lewis Hamilton needs to be a bad guy. I'm not saying that Lewis Hamilton should take on the characteristics of Max Verstappen. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying that there is a certain reaction that somebody that gets bullied will have to a bully eventually. That person, by reacting, is not a bully. They are combating being bullied. Max Verstappen is a bully on track. This is a fact. And if you're going to combat that, you're going to have to stand your ground and force the bully to understand that there are consequences that come with trying to bully me. And most times, often than not, bullies will stop. They will stop trying to bully you because it's not an easy game. It's not an easy pay. It's not an easy day. They don't want to deal with that. They want to go pick on somebody that's easy work because it's fun to them. When it stops becoming fun, they usually stop trying to bully that person. That's what I'm saying Lewis Hamilton has to do. Lewis Hamilton is the GOAT. He's a great driver, nothing less. But I am saying that he needs to be able to go ahead and combat that. Hold on one second. Don't go anywhere. All right, so I'm back. So listen, he's got to go ahead and combat that. But let's get into some of these things that were talked about during the press conference, all right? Because I feel like a lot of things that were mentioned during the press conference were totally unnecessary, and they did it because they always do it, all right? When Lewis is not in the room, they always got something funny to say. When Lewis says something very kind and generous about Lando, next thing you know, Lando is saying something very shady about Lewis. Lewis congratulates Max. Next thing you know, Max is saying something underlined to disrespect Lewis. This has happened several times, and I'm going to call it out. It's just straight up facts. So let's get into this first one, right? Let's get into this first one. So here we go right here. And let me make sure we can hear this to a degree. I don't want it to be too loud, but I definitely don't want it to be low.
Because he never do justice to it. I hate it. I already hated it at school.
Say Lewis complained of like how.
Okay, so in that situation right there, Max Verstappen is talking about is being asked. Now I'm going to say this. I'm going to give Max credit. All right, I'm going to give Max some credit on this. Okay, I'm gonna pop this chat out so I don't miss anybody in the chat. I'm gonna give Max credit. Okay, so for one, when asked this question about ranking or rating Perez, his teammate, oh, big shout out, happy anniversary, big shout out. When ranking his teammate, he could have really took the Max Verstappen role, right? What's the Max Verstappen role? To be more, Max, we know he throws tantrums. We know he's going to say something that's very slidish, all right? He's a spoiled brat. We know his characteristics, but Max didn't do that, so I got to give him credit for it because he really could have. Because I think all of us at some point in time during this season have questioned whether Perez's performance has been impacted by Red Bull doing very backhanded shit, or is it the fact that Perez mounted himself with a certain amount of pressure and has yet to be able to perform under that pressure. Max could have came out and said that, but he didn't. He said he doesn't like to do numbers, doesn't do it justice, and he also said that basically the team itself have these wins. Okay, so it was a way he said it that I have to commend him on because he really could have dumped on Perez. And Perez has already been dumped on plenty by Max. All right, even if Max had said that, that wouldn't have been as bad as what Max did in Brazil when he chose to ignore team orders and disrespect his team, his teammate, and his fan base. That wouldn't have been as bad as Max lied on a conference saying that Checo will have all of my support in Abu Dhabi, whatever it takes, and he didn't do that. Okay, but still, credit will be given to Max, from me at least, for taking the more PR route and not just dumping on Perez right there. Okay, that's what I'm going to say about that. The next thing is this, is I will say that on this next one, let's get to this next clip.
School.
Jay Lewis complained of like how tough it was finishing outside first position. And
I mean, when I saw you in Bahrain,
I was racing in 19th and 20th, you know.
I was like, that's going to be...
He's never done that in his life.
Okay, so listen, Lando, bro, let me tell you something. I get sick and tired of people talking about what Lewis Hamilton has not done. Lewis Hamilton has done a lot. Lewis Hamilton has driven from the back, gained several positions throughout sprint race into the next race to get on podium. Lewis Hamilton has done a lot. Lewis Hamilton has been in a shit car. Now, Lando, you want to complain and say that maybe your car wasn't as shit as Lewis Hamilton's this season? I think that's debatable. But regardless, what is your point in trying to bring Lewis into a situation where you're literally double podium? You're double podium. Why do you feel the need to bring up Lewis? Why do you feel the need to bring up Lewis and his situation and what you think he has or hasn't done in his entire life when it comes to the sport of Formula One? Lewis has done plenty. He's the GOAT. He's done plenty, bro. You don't need to be bringing that up. Your interview is about you and what you just accomplished. And they take the most opportunity they can to throw shade on Lewis Hamilton. He's never dealt with that in his life. Let me tell you some things that you've never dealt with in your life that Lewis Hamilton has. Racism. You've never dealt with racism. You haven't dealt with that. If there is, I haven't heard a report of somebody texting racist messages about you. I haven't seen on social media about somebody saying racial things and disrespecting and talk about hanging your family. I haven't seen at a race venue where people wore blackface to disrespect your family. I have not seen this. So there are so many things that Lewis Hamilton has went through that you have not went through in the sport of Formula One, Lando. And that's just one category. That's just one major category. So pipe down and check yourself before you go talking about what Lewis Hamilton has went through in the sport of Formula One and what you have. My friend, you haven't went through an ounce of shit. I don't recall a track marshal wishing death on you while it's being responsible for your safety if an unsafe situation happens. Has that ever happened to you, Lando? Has that ever happened to you? I don't recall that happening to you, Lando. I don't recall that. I'm just saying, if it had, please let me know, because I don't recall it. Has anybody in the sport of Formula One purposely wrecked you out because they just didn't want to see you finish a race or that? That might be a very close possibility. That's one thing you might get close to. But I don't recall that, Lando. There's a lot of things, matter of fact, that Lewis Hamilton has went through that you have not went through, my friend. While you're talking about Lewis Hamilton racing from 19th or 20th. Bro, stop. Please stop. Please do not forget Lewis Hamilton won a championship in the team that you are currently trying to win a championship with, and you haven't done it yet. So when you do that, then open your mouth about what you've done that Lewis Hamilton hasn't done, because that ain't worth talking about. You're talking about the same man that's been congratulating you. You're talking about the same man that passed you up on track and gave you credit, talking about great driver, Lando. You're talking about that same guy. Yet you got disrespectful, shady shit to say about him when he's not in your face. You know you were on livecast and you said he was an 8-time world champion. You do know that, Lando, right? Okay, I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying. Check yourself. Watch your mouth, Lando. That's all I'm saying, bro. I'm keeping it real with you. Hey, I took a picture with you, talked with you, worked with McLaren, saw what you did for the kids, but I'm just going to talk it real, and I ain't got no problem saying this and having a discussion to your face when I see you, if that ever happens again. But people can't be mad because I'm keeping it real. So tell me, Lando, how many things have you been through that Lewis Hamilton has been through? Tell me where you went when you were a kid, 8 or 10, if you went through racial situations, if people were looking at you calling you monkey, calling you the N-word. Tell me if Nelson PK was on a damn podcast using homophobic hate speech in regards to your name. Did that happen to you, Lando? Did that happen to you? Just tell me. Okay, I didn't think so. I didn't think so. All right, we'll go to the next thing. I didn't think so, Lando.
Mercedes are way, way better than we are. Always have been. Mercedes have always been very, very strong with tire deck. If you look at yesterday, the Mercedes was quite a bit quicker with Lewis. Saved our race today.
Yeah, it was fat. It was. Now I'm gonna go with that. All right. Yes, Mercedes is quite a bit quicker with Lewis. All the people out there. Mechanic says Wolf got on the tank top. Don't F with him. Don't F with me. I just came out of swimming in the ocean. I was just swimming in the ocean. All right, I'm salted down. I'm gonna throw all the salt on these haters. I'm gonna throw all the salt on these snails. So big shout out to the mechanic for the super chat. So Mercedes is quite a bit quicker. It does. I mean, if it is, it seems like McLaren's quite a bit quicker too, bro. But the thing is, with Lewis in it. So what's up with Russell? Y'all, I don't hear all the shade for Russell that we heard for Lewis Hamilton last season when they felt like Russell was the one that was just schooling Lewis Hamilton. I don't hear it. Why not? I hear all the hate and the shade for Checo because he's underperforming in respect to Max Verstappen. Why don't I hear so much hate for Russell this season like people had for Lewis Hamilton last season while he was taking the blunt of the workload and testing on his car? Where are y'all right now? I know Russell had a very good recovery drive. Cool. But Russell also almost fucked up his own drive. Mr. Always wanting to pit and call the shots and break away from team strategy. Mr. It's raining. It ain't raining inside, but it's sweat inside your helmet. Russell almost screwed his race yesterday. How? Sunday. How did he almost screw it? Let me tell you. Because Wallace Russell was trying to call in to go into the box. Bro, Alonso and Stroll was right behind you. There was no way you were going to recover after pitting and they passed you with a few laps left in the race. I don't believe you were. Russell almost screwed himself. Russell screwed himself on his first race win when he subbed in for Lewis Hamilton and he had COVID. He screwed himself then too. So where is all this negativity or all this harsh critiquing for Russell this season? Y'all don't have none for that guy? Why not? Why you ain't got none for that guy? Okay, all right. Well, anyway, Lando at least said that. He at least said that. Let's go to the next one.
Saved our race today.
Right,
I don't think if I didn't get past Lewis there, I don't think I would have overtaken him today because their race pace was very strong. Their general pace was very strong. I just think they didn't execute a very good race. Lewis stayed ahead,
They didn't execute a good race. Mercedes, y'all got to do better with pit stops. Y'all have been very suspect with your strategies. You should have pulled Lewis in earlier, but you didn't. There's a lot of things I'm gonna say. Now I know we armchair quarterbacking or commentating after the race, but people do it. We can always talk about after the fact because we observed it. Okay. But there are some things that Mercedes have been slipping on that they definitely should be up on, being the team that they were, the team that they still are regarded as, and the team that we hope they're going to be. Okay? Lando knew this. Now let me see, watch
frustrating,
this.
But then I managed to stay on the outside. I was a bit surprised because I would have thought he'd...
Boom. Boom. Now look at that. Lando himself is even surprised that Lewis Hamilton did not run him wide. What did I say? What did I say? No. What did I say? I told you all, Lewis Hamilton got to start taking and standing his ground. Lando even assumed, because that's what Lando would do. Max would assume because that's what Max would want to do. Lewis Hamilton should have ran him wide, so he would have backed out. Even Lando admits that without that and some other things that Mercedes failed to do, he even felt that McLaren wouldn't have been on podium, that Lewis Hamilton likely would have had podium. This is a guy who was in the race. This is a guy who throws shade. He's only telling the truth. He's only telling the truth. Lewis, you got to start staying in there, bro. You got to start treating these guys as dirty as they treat you sometime, but still civil about it. It's a way to
run
do
me
it.
a bit wider, but he didn't.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Max just placed it too close to the edge.
I'm going to take it off next time.
Just hold it.
We already talked about that.
I don't know. I just...
Lando needs to do his thing on his
fell
stage.
over, I guess. And not my problem, it's his.
Well, hopefully I don't stay on 44. That would be terrible.
Check this.
Yeah, I need to get
Now, y'all know what this is?
45 quickly.
Y'all know what that is? That's shade. That's shade. Okay, Max is throwing shade on Lewis. We all know Lewis's car number is 44, right? You could tell by his smirk. 44, that would be terrible if I stay there. That's throwing shade. I caught it all. Some people didn't catch it. Max Verstappen was throwing shade on the fact that he stuck at 44 wins. Congrats. But that's Lewis Hamilton's number. I got to get to 45 quickly. I thought you didn't worry about stats. I thought you didn't worry about these inter-race accomplishments. You worry about it, Max. And that was a shade, a jab thrown at Lewis Hamilton. I don't want to be on 44. That's terrible. I want to hear him get to 45. 45 is one of the worst presidents in the United. One of the worst. One of the worst. So he want to get to Mr. Orange. Mr. Orange. That's funny. Trump, Mr. Orange, the Orange Gang, the Orange Army. I get it. You want to get to 45. It would all make sense. But that was some shade thrown at Lewis Hamilton, by the way.
Have you experienced anything like this before in your career?
Dumbass question. This is a dumb question.
There are very rare days like this. I think that it's that good.
This way.
Look, that was a dumb question. Why would you ask that question? Have you ever seen him win like this? Have you ever seen him win like this? Bro, he's been in the game since Max Verstappen has been in the game since 2014. He didn't start winning like this until like 2020, 2021. Bro had 10 wins from 2014 to 2020. 10 wins, I think. I think Max only had 10 wins total, which is more than some Formula One car drivers get. But 10 wins total from 2014 to 15 to 2020. You know, why would you ask that dumb question? If that wasn't a dumb alley-oop, I don't know what was. No, he's never experienced this in his career. It just started happening now. You can't even really take 2021, but 2021 was an epic season, so you can say 2021. But come on now. 2021, shaded, cost cap. Not cost cap, they reached the cost cap then still, but the scandal in Abu Dhabi. 2022, shaded by the cost cap in 2021 loom now. 2023 is going to be Max Verstappen's most clean year, and even Max said he's got the fastest car on the grid. Even he says that, and he says it right in here.
Well, I mean, of course, it's really enjoyable to work with the whole team, and to have this kind of success. I think people probably forget how tough it is, to win 12 in a row.
Now, that was honest.
Even when you have the fastest car.
Boom, right there.
It's easy to make mistakes or
Now that was honest. What he said right there was honest. He said an honest thing right there, Max did. When you talk about, even though he's got the fastest car, still to go week in and week out hoping that you don't make a mistake is a very difficult thing. It's true. It's a very difficult thing. It's not always counted on. That's why I said Red Bull is due a DNF, right? So he's only being real when he's talking about that. So that was honest. But still, he said, I know I got the fastest car. So everybody that want to talk about, Max knows he has the fastest car. Okay? It's just point blank, period. But it's still something to be said that Max can do that in the RB19 whilst Perez can't. But did y'all forget? Lewis Hamilton had teammates. So why do y'all want to consistently talk about Lewis had the fast car and that's the only reason he won? He had teammates that didn't do the same in the fastest car. Y'all just totally like, that doesn't count. That's what I mean. Y'all double standard assholes when you do that. Max has teammates. Perez is not doing the same thing Max is doing in RB19, yet Valtteri not doing the same thing that Lewis Hamilton is doing in that. Russell right now not doing the same thing that Hamilton is doing that. Alonso got his ass beat for several seasons not doing the same thing that Lewis Hamilton was doing in that. Stop playing with me. Nico got his championship and ran his ass up out of there because he was about to get squished had it not been for the engine failure and that collision that they ended up having where Nico didn't want to give space to his own damn teammate. He didn't want to give space to his own teammate that had the pure pace. Lewis Hamilton was coming very fast. Nico knew it. You should have moved over. You wasn't even on the regular racing line, bro. So this is what I'm saying. Y'all got to stop this double standard bull crap. People out here acting like you can't go back and study. You can't look at video. We can see this. Y'all got to stop. And Lewis Hamilton got to start. And Mercedes, get on your damn job. You too damn elegant, you too damn accomplished, you too damn great to be sitting here having a subpar ass pit crew, having subpar ass strategy. You almost get Ferrari-esque with your strategies. Y'all need to stop. Be careful. Ferrari about to bring out a new red tractor for their Spec B car pretty soon for the SF23. Y'all need to be very careful about what you're doing because it's not looking good for you. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, all right? So listen, I'm about to go eat. About to go chill a bit. I had to come on here and get on with you all and chop it up, talk about some of these things because we got a new race week coming up. We're going to be back in full form this week for everything. Kickback quality, announcing new VIP members. We're going to be, the Wolves Den is going to happen. We're going to have our quality watch. We're going to have our live race. Everything is back to normal this coming up weekend. So don't forget, sign up, subscribe, like, go to the podcast, hit 5 stars. Wolves, I'm going to see y'all soon. We're going to do another Wolves Den real soon. I'm going to get with y'all. I peace and love. Appreciate all the happy wishes. But just think about it next time before Lando, you say, well, Lewis Hamilton hasn't been through Wallace. You've been through something, bro. Cap yourself and check yourself. All right.